Hi everyone, welcome to the NWO channel. I'm your host Benoit. Today we'll check 2 versus 2 China, a map that is usually used for clan league. It's usually played 2 versus 2, but you also have this version on our real-time ladder, 1 versus 1. So I've taken a very competitive game from Clan League 9 Division A. It was Terminator and Master of the Dead against Buns and Nakiquind. So one thing I want to say before anything is on such a template you usually want to have all mirror picks. So to calculate how much picks you need to calculate that there are 4 picks per player and there are 4 players. So it's 4 by 4, 16 picks. So you need 16 picks on this one. You can see that there are cities. There are like 1, 2, 3, 4 cities. And of course, the cities will usually be put quite high on the pick list, usually. And of course, the small bonuses, the +2s like Shanghai and Hong Kong and Beijing will also be usually quite high. One thing I want to mention also is on China, you have a lot of inefficient bonuses that sometimes can be used as counters. So let's say, for example, here we have Gansu, which is a 5 for 9, and you can see its value is quite limited, uh, unless maybe you want to do a counter, but even then I think its value is quite limited. Um, you also have a lot of bonuses in the middle like the Middle East here, that aren't very good. Um, like for example here NW, NU, and you have also here Jiangxi, and you have Hunan, and you have Guizhou. It's all like places that are quite limited unless you use them for counters. The same can be said here for Guangdong, which is a nice counter on this distribution for Hong Kong. So generally you want to cover the islands. So like you want to have something in the southeast usually. So Hong Kong or Hainan or Taiwan, depending on the distribution. Usually you want to have also something in the northeast, which is a place where you have a lot of efficient bonuses like 4 for 6, 4 for 6, 5 for 8, and a city that is included in the 5 for 8. So it's the T ratio of the northeast is very high. You have also Shaanxi and Ningxia, Chongqing and Yubei that are +3s that are very useful in the center. In particular, Shaanxi, because you can go counter the northeast and you can go counter the west with it. Ningxia is also interesting to go counter the west and ultimately maybe going to the northeast also. And there's also the +5 of Sichuan and Yunnan are very good. Also, the Tibet bonus can be good, although it can be countered quite easily by either Yunnan or Urumqi or Qinghai. So sometimes it's not that great to have like 2 picks in Tibet. And what other places that are good? I think it's about that. So the map seems to be very big, but when you think about it, there's like very specific regions that you need to cover. So the west, like having some kind of coverage there. The center, so the plus trees in the center, usually you want to cover that. Sichuan, sometimes Yunnan, it depends on the distribution. So you want to have usually something in the islands here, and you want to cover somehow the northeast. You cannot let it alone, although sometimes you can just counter it and not really go for the bonuses there. It really depends on the picks that are available within the distribution. So let's check the Masters picks. So he went for Arbon, Chengdu, Lhasa, New Territories on 4th, and then he went for Urumqi, Puxi, which is a two. Like I said before, they are very good. The plus twos. Well, most of the time. Then the 7th is again on in the island in case he loses Hong Kong, and it's quite safe income in the plus 3 of Hainan. You have also here the plus 3 of Changxi. As I said before, it's a very interesting place because usually it's not very easy to counter that bonus because there are only 2 access points, and on this one one of the passes is blocked, kind of, with a wasteland. And you can go with Shaanxi, you can go to the northeast also, so that region over here. Then he had a counter to the city of Hong Kong, which is quite interesting considering that Turtles, from the previous games that I saw of Clan League A, they went often on Hong Kong, and it's a good place to have. So I think it was a very smart thing to do for the Masters team to try to counter Hong Kong. And then you have here a very interesting pick from the Masters team in Lin Yi, because it's a plus 4 that doesn't really have much counters to it, because the plus 1 here is bad, and the plus 2 here is bad, and there are no picks in the plus 4. So I think that's why they got it so high. Like 10th is quite high considering they are doing mirror picks. Then they will like cover here Chongqing, which is a 3-4-4, which is a really efficient bonus, and it's a place that you want to usually cover. Then you have the plus 3 of Ningxia, which is a center pick on the map. It's a plus 3 and it can go either in the west or ultimately can also go to the northeast if you really need it. And it's a kind of a safe plus 3 usually. Then you can see that they went for plus 2 and the plus 5. It's mostly the plus 5 to counter a possible Beijing. On this one, Beijing wasn't that great, so that's why they took it very low. And you can see they go for Taipei. I guess it's in case they lose too much in the islands. And Taipei can also like counter a possibility of a Fujian bonus, or it can also go against Hong Kong if it's needed. And you have ultimately a pick in Hubei. It's taken relatively, no, it's taken very late because of Chongqing, which is far superior. So if we check the picks of the turtles, we can see that they went for Arbin, which is a pick that is often taken as a first pick. And then they went for Hong Kong a bit high, I think, because of the counter of Guangzhou. Uh, I guess they thought the Masters team wouldn't waste a pick on Guangzhou, so maybe that's why it was taken that high. Um, then you have Chengdu in Sichuan, which is usually the second best city on the map, and you have here the third best city on the map that is taken fourth, Lhasa. Um, so you can see that the picks are quite similar to the Masters team for the most part. You have Shanghai at +243. You have also the Changzi bonus. As I said before, it's an interesting place to go, not only to have somewhat safe income, but also to go counter the northeast. Uh, Hainan, which is always, well, usually it's always a good place to have unless they are wastelands. And you have the eighth pick, which is Oromqui. Um, Maybe it was a bit low to pick it 8, but since it's like the less appealing city, maybe they have a point picking elsewhere. Then we have the ninth here in Wuhan. I'm not sure why they picked it ninth, to be honest, because Chongqing I feel it was better because you can move to Guangzhou and have double border on Hubei. Then they went for the 11th pick in Taiwan, which is might be a bit high considering that there is Hong Kong there, but considering that they picked Hong Kong extremely high, which means second pick, I guess that's why they took Taipei quite high. And then you have a 12th pick and 13th pick covering the region of Beijing. And you have the 14th pick in Ningxia. As I said before, Ningxia is a +3 in the center that can be useful to counter the west or ultimately going to the northeast if you really need it. And the 15th pick is here in the +3. Not so sure if it was a good pick, but I understand why they did it because they thought, I think, if they lose Chengdu, like if they lose Sichuan or the +3s in the middle, I guess they wanted to have something to counter those places. So I guess that's why they took 15th on the +3 of Ton Green. And 16 you have a pick in Yunnan, and it's picked quite low considering there is a wasteland here of 3, and Tibet isn't that great on this one, so I think that's why it's only the 16th pick. So if we advance the turn, let's say from the perspective of Bonds and Nakekwan, you can see that the west for the turtles is really like it's going to be hard for them because of the west. Um, I think they probably saw that from the start. Um, so once they got all their picks, they need to check the lowest pick they got. So the lowest pick they got is their 13th pick, which is Tangshan. So that means they knew a lot of the places of the masters. They knew the masters were in Chengdu. They knew they were in Lhasa. They knew that the masters are also in Urumqi. So that's 3 places that they know. They know also Hainan. So that's 4. They know also Guangzhou because it directly counters Hong Kong. So that's the 5th pick. They know also Beijing, which is the sixth pick they knew. And unfortunately, there are two picks that they don't know about the Masters, I think. They don't know about Shandong. No, sorry, they know about Ningxia. So there were only one pick that turtles didn't knew, and it was Shandong. They didn't knew about Shandong. And if we check from the Masters perspective, the lowest pick they got was let's see, the lowest pick they got was their 13th pick in Forbidden City. So they know some territories of their adversaries. They know that they have Hong Kong, they know that they have Taiwan, they know they have Shanghai, so that's three. They know about, let's see, they know about Chongqing, so that makes three, four. They know about Arbin also, so Arbin here. So they know one, two, three, four, five, five picks, six with Shangzi. So there are two picks they don't know, which are Yubei, and the other one that they don't know is here Tangshan. But I think they would assume that the other team got like you can go by elimination. Like it's not really possible that they have Guizhou. It's not very possible they have Guangxi because it's very bad bonuses. Hunan is not very possible. Jiangxi not very possible. Fujian is a possibility. Hanhui is possible. Shuangqiji is possible. There is also Liaoning that is possible. So so the Masters there is only one pick I think after the picking phase that they don't really know about, but they are making guesses right now. But I think they really assume that the opponents, the turtles, are in Tangshan. I think they kind of anticipate that. So if we check their turn, so you can see that Master of Disaster is going for Changdong, and they don't want to give the place here up. And you can see Terminator will slowly but surely make Sichuan, but his main focus right now is making Anan and not dying for here right now. And you can see Master of the Dead will also take Ningxia pretty easily because there are no counters to it. Here you see that it's a very intelligent move from the Master, not moving because they really thought the enemy could have been in Tangshan and they had better bonuses to expand in. As you can see, Terminator is still trying to get the Sichuan bonus. So right now the Masters aren't really countering the opponent's places. They are mostly expanding, which is a good thing considering that they kind of assume that the West is probably safe, although they are not sure. Maybe there's a pick of the turtles in Qinghai that would be possible, considering that they are. It would be a bit surprising right now if they have no picks in the West. because the Masters team don't know yet if the turtles have something in the west or not. So as you can see here, Master of Disaster now is going towards the center because they knew that the opponents had Chongqing, and they are assuming that the opponent is possibly in Yubei. Here Terminator I think is letting go of Beijing because I think he thinks that Master of the Dead can probably take over the fight in the middle. And he got kicked out here in Guangdong also, Terminator, which isn't very surprising because he was opposed on two fronts and now a third front here. So you can see that Master of the Dead now really wants to counter the center. You see the big stack he has here in Kai Feng. And now he keeps expanding Tibet. Terminator is smart here. He goes more for a defensive approach in Sichuan, and especially considering that it's mostly Master of the Dead that has the most troops to counter the turtles. So here, Master of the Dead really wants to make a statement. You can see here that's a very impressive move. He goes for U1 because he thought maybe Shi Xiansui would have received a transfer from Wangzhou. So that was very smart of him. So Master of the Dead at this point know that he will probably have to go check the north soon. Terminator is in a very good position in the center to counter Nakik Wine, and he also know that he will eventually have to go in the east. Unfortunately, Nakik Wine got booted on this turn. I think the AI didn't play that bad, I think. You can see Master of the Dead is trying to get to Chongqing, while Bonds is trying to get to Master of the Dead. So you can see here the stack from Terminator is going to go for Hong Kong and the islands, while Master of the Dead now is clearly uh, clearly has a good positional advantage in the west. His income is very safe. So here is a very important pick for Master of the Dead. Instead of defending Shandong with too much, you can see that he will just keep moving towards the north and expanding a very safer place, which is Xinjiang. That's something that players that are more experienced will do. They will sometimes just abandon the place that costs too much to defend and expand a place that is way safer. So in this case, it was expanding Zhejiang instead of keeping Shandong. And you can see here he goes to Dalian. He goes quite late because he feared a possible counter. The same thing can be said about Bai Yoling. Here you see Master of the Dead is trying to counter Chongqing, while Terminator will probably go after Nakik Wine in the center also. You can see he stacks Haiku because he doesn't want to lose his bonus, and he prefers to have stack behind the enemy lines. So you can see eventually Master of the Dead will be able to take Kinhei if it's needed. That's what he's preparing with his leftovers. You can also see in the center that Master of the Dead is really prepared to kill Chongqing from the back door. And he's moving towards the north here, as you can see in Dalian. He also wants to go check the region of Shaanxi. While Terminator is mostly defending right now. He knows he's like the weakest link, if I might say that, from the Masters team, because he has less income right now. So Master of the Dead here, he does a good move. He wants to keep Shangdong, but he's not trying that hard because he thinks that it's more important to go counter the northeast. So you can see here, Terminator, he played more defensively so far, but now he's getting more and more prepared to eventually attack Hong Kong and reduce the income of Nat Kick Wine. At this point, the Masters team, I think, feel pretty confident about winning that game because, like I said numerous times, the West is the crucial turning point on this game. So you can see the transfers and a very late attack here on Zhangzi. He really anticipated well that. And you can see at turn 9 it's over. So let's see from the perspective of the turtles. Let me switch that for the turtles. So from the point of view of the turtles, so they knew, like I said before, a lot of Masters picks, but it was like 2 picks here in the West, Ningxia and Chengdu. They knew also about Forbidden City, and they knew also about here Guangzhou and Hainan. The only pick they didn't knew about was Changdong. So you can see Buns goes for an early counter. So that's it was probably the play to do. Although unfortunately for him, Terminator didn't expand it Beijing. So you can see that Buns will probably have more income than Nakik Wine, because Nakik Wine will probably be busy fighting Terminator here in Guangzhou. So here they removed Terminator from Guangzhou, but doing so like reduced the expansion speed of Nakik Wine. Buns is trying to get out Terminator from Forbidden City, but he didn't try that hard. He really wants to expand northeast, while Nakik Wine is going after the islands. And they know that they have Ainan, so probably going for the safer island before. And they knew that they had also Sichuan, so they would assume maybe they had 2 picks in Sichuan, but they had only 1 pick, and it was Chengdu. So you see Buns is expanding in northeast. Right now they are not, the turtles are not really going after the west because they are busy elsewhere. This is a something that they didn't expected from the Master of the Dead. He went very hard here, going to counter the +3 of Yubei. So that's something that is going to be harder to manage for the team of the Turtles. Although they have a safe income in the northeast, they have relatively safe income here in the east. They really have to go to the west soon. If they don't, I think they are in huge trouble. So unfortunately, the attack here didn't work. And here he wants to, you see here the deployment of Nakikwine. He really wants to help his buddy Buns. Unfortunately for them, they thought Master of the Dead would go for the obvious place, but they went for the less obvious place. Buns really wants to kill Terminator here because if he does, well, he will have really more freedom in the northeast. So the biggest problem for the turtles, like I mentioned, is really the west. It's increasingly becoming a very big problem for them. So this is a good thing. Beijing got killed. So now Buns is trying to get to Changdong. While Nakikwan is trying to hold his bonus in the center, while still expanding a bit in the island in the southeast. He has to beware although of Ainan. Here we see a very huge deployment of Buns. I think it was a mistake not starting to move here in North Shaanxi Pass right now and going after Tuilam, Quab, and Bayanur, Bato, and Alxa. I think Buns is focusing too much here in the center. Fortunately for him, I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to secure the east because that's the strongest point for the turtles. But while trying to really get a hold on the east, I think he's like really allowing Master of the Dead to do pretty much what he wants in the west. So here you see Buns is now moving towards the west. Nakikwine is trying to hold his ground against Terminator. Ultimately, I think he wants to go to Ainan, go put pressure on that place. So it doesn't. I think from the turtles' perspective, it was turn 8. I think they knew at this point it would be very hard to make something good out of this. So here Buns will probably try to clean Master of the Dead from Changdong. You can see that Nakikwine is losing ground because he's opposed from both sides. So Terminator is stacking behind the enemy lines, really pays off here. As you can see, take Macau. Buns is trying to get out Master of the Dead, and now we will go to Ulam Quab with 8. But as you will see, as we saw before from Master of the Dead, he really anticipated very well, and he took control of Ulam Quab, which is kind of it's a very important place. This is not sure why Buns went for Baoding, because Master of the Dead is still there. Probably thought Master of the Dead would have been killed. And this is like another turning point on this game. You can see that Master of the Dead will go from Ohot to Olam Quab. And I think at this point, like, the turtles see that it's hopeless, because Nakikwan here, he has 15 on East Sichuan Pass, but he would have to go back to rural area. He is clearly like losing ground here on Macau. Buns can probably go back to Chongqing from Yuhan, but going to the west, it seems to be impossible for the turtles right now because of Ulam Quab. So if we check the perspective of everyone, so this is what looked the game for both of the teams. If we change the colors just for to be clearer, if we put them in let's say orange and red, so you can see right from the start that the blue and like blue-green colors really control the west. They have 4 picks here in the west, while the team of orange and red, their strongest point is the east, but unfortunately for them, they are all in the east. I think that if the turtles would have had like something like let's see what was available. If they would have had like Eggsy here in the +5 of Kinhei, I think they would have been able to do much more damage to the east, the west, sorry. They didn't have bad picks, I think, the turtles, although maybe New Territories was a bit high considering Guangzhou was near it. And really the problem was the west. It was like not covered enough, and I think it was the biggest turning point in this game. So to just to resume, you have like, I would say you have like 5 very important places to cover on this one. The west, you have Sichuan with Yunnan. You have the islands. You have like the bonuses in the center that are +2 for trees or 3 for 4. And you have here, you need the presence in the northeast somehow, either from something more in the middle or directly in the north. And you need to have a very good coverage on China, because if you don't, well, maybe you might like lose the game like the turtles lost the game, because I would say 1 or 2 of the very important places to cover were neglected by the turtles. So I think that's why mostly they lost. And of course the cities are usually on the top of your list when you pick, and the +2s for 3s also often in top of your list. The 3 for 4 often in top of your list. and ultimately you have like bonuses like Sichuan and Yunnan, and like bonuses like Shandong, which are efficient but sometimes are a bit longer to take. So if we check another game from China, it was in Clan League 9 Division C. It was Great Expense and myself representing Hydra, and we had Lucian Mahler and Sissy representing Lufred. So if we check the picks for Hydra, as I said before, it were mirror picks. So we went for Chengdu as first pick, which isn't really the norm. Usually people go for Arbin as first, but we felt that the +4 of Jilin wasn't good. The +4 of Liaoning wasn't good, and we felt that Xilingal could ultimately cover almost all of the north, and ultimately Xilingal could also go to Beijing if it's needed, and Xilingal could also go to like to Shaanxi and Ningxia if it's needed. So that's why we took it like 11th pick. So if we go in order, we had Chengdu, our first pick. We took it very high to prevent a possible double picking of Sichuan. Then we went for Arbin. Um, then we went for Lhasa, the third city. I think it's the third best city. Then we have the fourth pick in Beijing. We wanted Beijing because second pick Arbin, we kind of knew that it was quite possible we would lose it. So we wanted a kind of a backup. So that's why Beijing was so high. Then we had 5, 6 in Hainan and Hong Kong because the islands are very interesting, as I said before. They are very hard to counter. Then we had the Ningxia bonus, the +3 that has a central position on the map. We neglected Shaanxi because of the wasteland here in Datong, and because you have also wastelands on North Jiangxi Pass and South Jiangxi Pass. So you can see later that the guy that went for Jiangxi was kind of like blocked once he had it, so that's why we didn't took it. We took the +3s in the center, 8 and 9. It was possibly a bit high considering the possible counter of Nani Yang, sorry. Um, but we wanted to have a presence there. We had the 10th pick in Yunnan because we felt that Yunnan was a good place if we lost Lhasa to counter a possible pick in Lhasa and Shannon. And we felt that Yunnan could possibly go to Chengdu if we lost Chengdu. And so that's why we took it quite high, 10th pick. The 11th pick was, as I said before, Xilingal, which is it's not a common pick, but we felt that it could really counter well a possible double picking of Elong Jiang. Then we had 12th pick in the 12th pick where we put the 12th pick. Oh yeah, in Oromqui. So you might say like why you took Oromqui so late, like 12th pick for a city. Uh, it's arguable, maybe we could have picked it higher, but we felt that there were more important places like Hainan and Hong Kong and etc. because we felt that If we lost Lhasa and Urumqi, we would probably be in Yunnan, so it wouldn't be much a problem to counter the west. And we felt that it was very unlikely to lose Ningxia, Yunnan, Lhasa, and Urumqi. And we also had a 16th pick in Hainan. And we have also Chengdu. So the west is like, there are a lot of picks in the west. So we kind of sacrificed a city, Urumqi, because like I said before, we felt that other places on the map were better to prioritize. Um, the 13th pick was in Taiwan. It wasn't a very good pick overall, but if we check the other places that were available, I think 13th pick in Taiwan made sense in case we lost like Hong Kong or something. 14th pick, we can see that in case we lose both plus trees in the center, we were prepared for a counter of that region. It was a kind of a risky pick because we could have been uh, like be stuck with it, but we felt that if we got like Central Hubei and Nanyang, but we lost Chongqing, we would still gain some kind of advantage doing a like a first turn bonus in Hubei. And the 15th pick was here in Liaoning. So that was in case we lost Harbin and we lost Forbidden City and we lost Xilingol. At least we would have an ultimate backup. And the 16th pick was in Hainan, which was like a ultimate backup for Urumqi and Lhasa and Yunnan and even Chengdu and Ningxia. So their picks. So they went also for the first pick in Chengdu. So they also saw that it was a possible place where um, like the opponent could do a double picking there. Um, they went for Arbin as second pick. They went for third pick in Mian Desui, which is it's arguably a good strategy, although they needed for that for us to lose Chengdu, and that didn't happen. And we didn't pick Mian Desui as third, so if we would have got Arbin instead of Chengdu, it could possibly have really changed the game. But since we got Chengdu, I think Mian Desui was a very risky pick. Um, the fourth pick they had was was in Chongqing. Um, that one I don't think it was a good pick in terms of the order of the picks. I think it was very high to put Chongqing, and you have Ningxia as fifth pick. Um, I think they kind of neglected the islands and Beijing also. Because Ningxia, yes, it's good, but I don't think it's worth a fifth pick. Sixth pick, they went for Hainan, but at this point it was a bit too late because our picks were early for that region. Hong Kong was 7 and Taiwan was 8, so it's still a good thing because in team games, especially if you mirror, um, like if a team gets like the first pick, they will usually get the fourth, the sixth, and the seventh pick, and the other team would get like the second, third, fifth, and would get also the eighth pick. So I think that was wise to have like 5, 6, 7, 8. Um, although it was, as you will see, it was a bit late to pick that. The ninth pick was let's see. It was in Lhasa. I think it was a bit late to pick Lhasa 9. They could have been in trouble, I think, in the west. Although, yes, Ningxia was a early pick, and Chengdu and Mian-Desui also, but 9, 10 for Lhasa and Oromqui, I think it's too late for two picks there. The same thing can be said about Beijing. 11th pick is too late in my opinion. 12th pick, I think in Shaanxi really hurt them. Wasn't a good it wasn't a good place to pick at all. 13th pick, it was a good pick, but I think it was too low to put Central Yubei at that point. 14, I can see that they thought that they needed some kind of coverage in case they lost both Lhasa and Oromqui. I would assume that they wanted us to have both cities, the way they picked Hainan as 14th. And you can see that they also thought of what we thought of Xilingol, which is a ultimate backup of Arbin. Um, I don't like their coverage of the Northeast. Second, 11, 15. They could have lost everything there. If we have got Arbin, we would have gotten Beijing also, and probably Xilingol. So I think they would have been in trouble in the Northeast if they would have gotten Chengdu. So, but that's a supposition from myself. And you can see there's an ultimate backup here in Yunnan going for the counter to Tibet. So if we advance the turn, let's say we check from our perspective. So it was from Hydra's perspective. You can see that we lost some picks. So the first thing we have to do is check the latest pick that we got. And the latest pick that we got is Xilingol. So we assume that they have Urumqi. We are assuming, but we are not sure. We know they have Chongqing, so that's 2. We see Mian-Desui, so that's 3. 4, we know that they have Arbin. So let's see, we know Arbin, Mian-Desui, Chongqing, Taiwan, we know also. No, sorry, we don't know. We don't know about Taiwan, but we kind of assume they would be there. Did we know about? Yeah, we knew about Ningxia. We thought it was possible that they were in Zhangzi, and so at this point we knew 1, 2, 3, 4. We knew 4. Yeah, we knew 4 of their picks for sure. But we didn't knew that much more. We knew only 4 of their picks for sure. We were assuming Oromqui, so that would be 5, and we were assuming Taiwan, so that's 6, and we were like for the 7 and 8, we didn't knew what they had. We thought maybe they would be in here. Turpan maybe, or we thought maybe they could be in Nanyang. We thought maybe it was still possible they would be in Shaanxi. We thought maybe they were in Heilongjiang. So we didn't knew for sure their picks. Only 4 of their picks we knew. So if I play start, you can see here in the center will be conservative. We know that they had Chongqing, so we go directly counter it. And if they were in Nanyang, well, they would have gotten in Shixiangsui, so we thought it was a very bad place, so we didn't want to give it up. Um, you see that the orange guy went from Mian de Sui to Nanchang, which is a very bad decision. We knew Beijing was very safe for Great Expanse, and we knew that Yunnan was quite safe, although we thought maybe they were in Guizhou. For myself, I knew the islands were very safe. Well, Hainan for sure. I'm not moving here Xilingol because I felt it wasn't needed at this point. I was already fighting Orange, and we were presuming the Taiwan bonus would be taken. As you can see now, we saw that he came from Kinhei, so we knew that 5th pick for sure. And we knew also here Taiwan 6th pick. Here I knew I had like priority over Orange, so I just went for it. This was very interesting. You see, I didn't even like try to put troops here in new territories. Well, I've put when I saw the turn advance. So here you see that I will just try to muscle myself to Taiwan. Great Expanse here is like, doesn't really care about Lhasa because he has Yunnan. He's trying also to keep in check Chongqing. I'm trying to corner Sichuan also. And here I make a very audacious move. I just like go for the attack on Taiwan. As you will see soon, here you see the big attack. I think here it was a very big mistake from Lucian Muller to go that big on Lhasa. Like when we saw that huge deployment, I think we kind of assumed that it was kind of a bit ridiculous. We knew at this point that they had each a city, so Oromqui we knew that they had based on their deployments, and we knew Arbin for sure. You can see Great Expense goes for the +5 while just giving up Lhasa because it was not needed to spend too much energy on it. I'm really trying to kill Taiwan. And here Great Expense is trying to get some sort of advantage over Orange. You can see here, I think I knew I was moving first. Sorry, no, it's not this turn. Great Expense was moving first. This is cyclic, so if one team gets the first move, he also gets the fourth move. So I just got the fourth move on Lucian Muller in Taiwan, which is I was really surprised. After turn 5, I think we knew we won. Um, like when I cleared Lucian Muller from Taiwan, I knew I was in a great position. You can see I move Xilingol to check Yilongjiang. So here, Great Expense is just trying to survive in Chongqing, buying time. He is in the defensive position right now, while I am in a very big expanding position. Here I choose to not take Taiwan because I wanted to get in Heilongjiang and I wanted to kill Nanchang. At this point, I want to tell you that We knew that each one of them had Ningxia and a city and Changxi and a city, and we knew about most of their picks. We didn't knew who was in Urumqi until I saw the guy here in Arbin. So here you can clearly see I removed the guy from Sichuan. Um, I'm doing here the +4 of Taiwan. Here Orange is making mistakes. He's kind of going for Xinjiang while he knows that Great Expanse is there. I think it's a very bad decision. The same thing can be said about Lucian Muller going for Qinghai. You can see that our position compared to Lou Fred's is extremely better. You can see also my stack here in the north. I'm just lurking and waiting to attack. Great Expanse is letting himself like kind of get killed in the center because we thought Orange wasn't a big threat on this one. So this is when I just want to pause. You can see here the deployments: purple, yellow, then you have kind of brownish and orange. So if you don't know the cycle, like when it's cycle, you can use deployments to know who will move before who. As you can see, I will move before yellow, and I will move before brown, and I will move before orange. So of course I used history to check before if I was moving before yellow. So you will see that I will probably first move um, yellow in the north. At this point we knew he had 7, and there you go, I killed him. I went with even a bit more because I didn't really care at this point. I can just use the extra armies to expand. And here you can see that my goal is to take Fujian and eventually go back in the center. We didn't knew exactly, I think, what Orange had, but we assumed he had like Yubei, Changxi, and Urumqi, plus the base income. We knew exactly what Lucian Muller had at this point. We knew he had 6 and he was doomed. So the goal of Great Expanse was to really piss off Lucian Muller. While my goal, like I said, was to go back in the center. And you see here Orange is really making like the +6 of Xinjiang, and we didn't like understood why they weren't surrendering at this point. It was quite obvious they lost their position in the southeast, they lost their position in the northeast. We knew like about all their picks, and you see Great Expanse just moved back his troops because Goldmold wasn't possible to reach for Lucian Muller, and he wanted to preserve his Yunnan bonus. You see how much I am expanding. I have like 25 income right now. We know that Orange has like 8, 11, 14, 15. We know that Orange is on 15, and we know that Lucian Muller has 6. So here you see Great Expanse is trying to get in the Xinjiang bonus. I, for myself, I'm expanding in the northeast. I'm totally alone here. We know that for sure because the pick that was available, it was Chilling, and we know that we have Beijing, and there were like no other possible picks. I felt extremely comfortable at this point of the game. Here you can see Great Expense gold is to kind of out delay somehow the yellow guy and get back in the +5 of Kinhei eventually, really securing his bonus in Yunnan. That was a very important goal for us. And you can see that my goal here is to have a very big stack and attack in East Sichuan Pass and also go here in Jiujiang. I'm just unstoppable at this point. I just don't understand what they kept playing. I think maybe they thought they could handle the West, but Great Expense had a big stack of 15 already, and so you can see I finished the +5. I'm now on 30 income, 12 for Great Expense. We knew Lucian Muller had 6, and we knew that the other guy had. Sorry, Lucian Muller wasn't at 6, he wasn't at 9 because he had also Ningxia or Shangzi. But it's not like we cared much how much they had on this point. So you can see the Stalin here from Great Expense. He's really just trying to stall them. I'm really about to just destroy the orange guy. You can see that I really out-delay them also because it's quite easy for me right now to out-delay them considering I have much more leftovers. Like Lucian Muller is trying to get back in hay, but it's kind of unnecessary. Naku is very nice in the west because, as you can see, you have double border on Xijiang and you have double border on Qinghai, and you also are in Tibet and you can also go back to Yunnan. So it's a nice positional pick. And here you can see I'm still expanding slowly but surely, trying here to get to the back door of Lucian Muller to screw him from the back. And here Lucian Muller, like, I think he knows he needs to go pressure me, but I'm moving before him. So I took West Sichuan Pass. Here you can see the orange guy, like, yeah, he took back Great Expense from his bonus, but just got countered, and he's getting really destroyed on the center. I'm even going for like Changzi at this point because I have so much income. I have like 30 income, even more soon. I'm just like in a seek and destroy mode. So Lucian Muller has Kinhei. He has a +3. I think we knew he had Ningxia, and he also got Lhasa, but it's not like we really give a damn. Here he tries to counter, but doesn't work. Sissy here is, yeah, you have double border, but like it's too little, too late. So on China, it's going to happen often that you will have one player that will have more income than your partner. Well, it's like that on most templates, but I think on China it's particularly true. Um, so you can see how the turns advance. Like I said before, from like turn 5, we kind of knew that the game was over, so we were really wondering what they were doing. You can see that the Great Expanse just gives up on Yunnan at this point. He doesn't care at all. Just wants to keep having a presence in the west because he knows that I'm coming anyways to Yunnan from Sichuan, and there is no stopping me. I'm also going here. You can see in North Jiangxi Pass. I'm also going for Ningxia here. I want to take Ohot. So you can clearly see that they kind of they played at least I think 5 or 6 unnecessary turns at least. They didn't knew like how much we had, or they didn't knew like how when to surrender, because it was very obvious they couldn't win at this point. I even took the 2+3s in the center. I counter here the +5. I have so much delays, like I said before, because I have so much income compared to the others. Here I'm going to Changxi, and here I'm going to Ningxia. So you can see the end result if I go for the view of everyone. So I clearly like have a extremely dominant position. You can see here the southeast is extremely safe now. Northeast extremely safe. Even Sichuan in the center now are totally cleared. Uh, so if we go for how they view the game, so I just want to go, I'm just going to pause this. So their latest pick was, let's see, their latest pick that they got was their 14th pick. Their 14th pick here they got in Hainan. So they knew that we had Chengdu. They knew that we had Lhasa. They knew that we had Hubei. They knew that we had Hong Kong and Hainan. They knew also about Beijing. So they knew a lot of our picks. They knew, let's see, they knew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They knew 6 of our picks because they didn't knew about Xilingol and Baoshan Likang. So let's see how they saw this. Um, I think it was a very big mistake from Ceci to go for Chongqing. Like it was obvious we would counter him. Here he flees from me. I guess it was okay, but not sure why he did it. This is really a very bad pick for them, Zhangzi. You cannot do anything with it. Oromqui is the least like effective city. So you can see that right from the start, Sisi puts himself in a very bad situation. Lucian Muller is a bit less in a bad situation, but I think he could have taken a better pick than Ainan. This is a very big mistake here. Chunking, like there's no reason to do it. They knew that we had Ubay, so it's just not possible to justify that decision. You can see that here he wants to secure Taiwan, which is a good thing. He's trying to go for Tibet because maybe he thought we double picked Tibet, which we didn't. So the biggest mistake of Lucian Muller was to go that big for killing in Lhasa. But at the same time, they didn't knew that we were in Yunnan. Um, so it could have been good if we didn't. If we weren't in Yunnan, it could have been good. But considering that we were in Yunnan, going that big on Tibet wasn't a good decision. Um, you can see how much Shaanxi hurts them. He has some delays, but he cannot expand with his delays. So he has like 3 armies that are kind of wasted. And you can see he goes here, he tries to counter Yubei in case. And as we saw previously, I will counter Taiwan. This was a mistake, a big mistake. Like everything that happened in Taiwan, for the most part, from the turn 3 and so far, it wasn't good. You see here, I first move him. He first moved Great Expanse, so I guess he was kind of happy with this until he saw that Great Expanse was in Yunnan. You can see how orange is like not a factor on this game. He's trapped in the corner of Sichuan. He's dealing with Great Expanse. His pick in Oromqui is useless, kind of. It's why Oromqui is not very good often. So you can see Great Expanse had the first move. And we feared that maybe Lucian Muller would anticipate Great Expanse being in Yunnan, but he didn't. And this is like the crucial turning point of this game. Turn 5, I killed Lucian Muller in Taiwan, it was over. There was like no possibility to recuperate from that, in my opinion. Especially considering I was in Xilingol and we had also Beijing. They were like way too much in the west here. And the west like was covered by Great Expanse. So this is a lot about coverage and positioning. And you can see that here he taps here. It's kind of a waste of a delay for the future turns. So now you can see go for King He, but considering Great Expanse was there, I really don't think it was the good decision. You can see how Sisi is trapped in Nanchang. This is a big mistake, going for Xinjiang. Like why you go for Xinjiang when you have Great Expanse there? And we saw the deployments of Orange, so we knew he had a city and he had Changxi. So here he gets killed in Sichuan. At this point, I already killed Taiwan and Sichuan. And you can see the next in line will be Arban. So now we are like in turns where it doesn't matter, like where we kind of played on the autopilot. Um, so you see, keeps expanding. The +6, it's a mistake. So now he goes after Yunnan, but it's too little, too late. So now they know that they understand that they have to double team Great Expanse. The problem is by doing that they are letting me like killing Lucian Mahler in the north. I knew if I clinched the north it was over, and that's what happened. You can see that we knew how much Lucian Mahler had, so I attacked with enough to just kill him. It would have been better to just take Yubei for orange and go to North Bioling and just help Lucian Mahler to clear Great Expanse instead of trying to do an impossible bonus, which is Xinjiang. So here they have 9, 12, and I think at this point I had like more than both of them combined. If we check the perspective of everyone, you can see the incomes 2012, 912, but after this turn I have more than both of them. So you can see 2012, 912, you can see it's over. So I'm not going to go through all this because I think it's quite obvious from what I've showed you before. So to resume the China, once again, the cities are very important usually. Harbin, Chengdu, Lhasa, and Urumqi is a bit weaker considering the position it has on the map. The very interesting +2s, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Beijing, very interesting usually. The islands, +3, +4, and you have the +3 Ningxia, +3 Shaanxi, +3 Hubei, +3 Chongqing, and you have the +4s of Shandong, Liaoning, and Jilin that are all interesting. Although Harbin kind of neglects the power of the 2 +4s in the northeast. You also have in the +5 Sichuan and Yunnan, which are very interesting. And you have Tibet that is good also, even though I think it's one of the weaker bonus compared to other +4s. And you have the +6 of Xinjiang, which is not that good, I would say, unless you are sure to have clinched the West. It's not very good. And you have a ton of bonuses in the center that are usually not good, but you can sometimes use them as counters, like we did here for Xilingol. So I hope that this video helped you with your picking and playing of China 2 versus 2. I've been your host, Benoit. See you next time.